Sometimes I wish I was still 18 and all the boys would like me, wanna listen to me sing. Sometimes I wish I could just drive out on my own till the sun comes up and my cell phone's dead and nobody's waiting at home for me. Then I'd be free, free from your hand reaching over to touch my face in the middle of the night. Because there's no more words, we used them all up in the fight. Free from the roots that come with 14 years of beautiful life, and free to be just me. Sometimes I wish I got paid by the hour to do this job, that I could leave at 5 o'clock and have martinis in my downtown loft. Sometimes I wish I could find a damn bathroom to myself, 10 minutes alone without somebody knocking on the door to need my help. Then I'd be free, free from a redhead jumping all over my bed on Saturday morning, demanding donuts and to turn the TV on. Free from a boy turning into a man before my eyes, and free from a breaking heart as I watch him try to figure out this life. Then I'd be free. Sometimes I wish I could just live my life without wishing for all the things that catch my eyes. My God, I wish I could just be content with what I've got, and remember the freedom I lack is what brings the deeper life I really want. It makes me free to tell stories with my guitar about the life we live. Free to remember I'm not the only one who has to give, and free to believe there's something greater at work inside of me, showing me how to be free. Oh, I wanna be free to live for more than just me. Thank God it's not just me. was still 18. Thank you.
Welcome. I am Lynn Grobsky, the ministerial intern at the Mattituck Unitarian Universalist Society. I am so glad you are joining me, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Meriden, and the Mattituck Unitarian Universalist Society for our online Sunday service. Welcome to the month of November. The theme for this month is healing, and today is also All Saints' Day. So we are going to be exploring the holy nature that is within each and every one of us and how healing that is. As Unitarian Universalists, we always start our services with lighting the chalice.
In this flame from this chalice, we find the light of faith, the glow of hope, and the warmth of service. May we grow in faith, hope, and service as we kindle our own lights from its spark.
Our opening hymn is For All the Saints. The words will be on your screen. Please join in and sing along at home.
Once there was a girl who had a disease that had no cure. When she was in school, she had lots of friends, but now that she was home in bed, none of her friends would come by because they were afraid to get the disease. She was so sad and so lonely. One day, she heard a knock on the door, and in walked 3 of her friends. She was so happy to see them. "Hi, come sit on my bed. Oh, I'm so happy to see you." So they came and sat on her bed. One was a minister, one was a doctor, and the 3rd friend was a magician. "We just came by to tell you that we want to work on a cure for you. So I am going to go to my laboratory and I am going to find a cure. I will work on it for 3 days. I will give it my all and I will find you a cure. If I can," said the doctor. The minister said, Ah, and for 3 days I will pray for you, my dear. I will pray for a cure for your disease. And the magician said, and I am going to search through all my potions and find a potion that will be a cure for your disease. For 3 days, I'll try my best. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that gives me such wonderful hope. Thank you. And they left. And the doctor, for 3 days, tried and tried, could not come up with a cure. The minister prayed for 3 days straight for the little girl to get healed. She did not heal. And the magician tore apart his room and searched everywhere and couldn't find anything that would work. Ugh. So they came back to see the little girl with their bad news, and they started to cry. We're so sorry. Yeah, we tried our best. I just couldn't find anything. And the little girl said, oh, please don't cry. I know you tried your best, but here is what I have found out. I have found out that because your visit made me feel so much better, that loneliness is the worst disease. So, doctor, the medicine that I would like is your companionship, your friendship. And minister, the prayer that I would like would be to be with you and to have you be with me. And magician, the potion that I would love, the magic that I would love is to be loved by all of you. And so they gathered around her bed and laid their hands on her. And they stood there for a long time. And it is said they found a cure.
Dum da da dum 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 da da dum 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 da da dum 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 da da dum dum dum. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. It's the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died and never, never left, the dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees, they are in the rolling woods, they are in the crying grass, they are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. It's the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died and never, never left, the dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast, they are in the wailing child, they are with us in our homes, they are with us in the crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So Listen more often to things than to me. Listen more often to things than to these. Tis the ancestors' when the fire's voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters.
Hobie and his mom traveled to Indiana this past week to get Hobie's new diabetes dog that is able to alert Hobie about his blood sugar levels. We all welcome Peanut to the Moose family. If you've been a Unitarian Universalist long enough, you will begin to notice that there are a great many, a real lot of our churches that carry the name All Souls. You may have heard of the rather more famous ones, All Souls in Washington, D.C., All Souls in New York City, All Souls in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there are also a lot of others. There's an All Souls in Belleville, Ohio, All Souls Kansas City, Missouri, in Watertown, New York, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in Shreveport, Louisiana, in Braintree, Massachusetts, in New London, Connecticut, in Brattleboro, Vermont, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And that's only the first page of internet search results. There are more. So where does this All Souls name come from that's so popular in Unitarian and Universalist churches? Well, it comes from our origins in Unitarian and Universalist Christianity. The Universalists believed that a loving God sent no one to eternal damnation or hell forever, that in the end, eventually, everyone was somehow reconciled to God, reconciled to the good. Today is All Saints' Day, the day that in the Christian church, you remember all the saints are holy people who have died. And tomorrow, November 2nd, is All Souls' Day, where we remember the souls of everyone who has died. As I was growing up Catholic, I loved these days as they came around. Yes, they were really close to Halloween and like the remembrance of the holy people and everybody and all that jazz, but as I became Unitarian Universalist, I really began to like the interplay of these days because in Unitarian Universalism, all souls are saints. I grew up Catholic, and the Catholic Church has its own criteria, of course, for who is a saint. Living a life of heroic virtue is, of course, required, and a never ceasing journey and searching ever more deeply for God. And you need miracles associated with your ministry, either during your life or somehow associated with you after you have died. Now, I think all of us has, internally in our mind or in our heart, this idea of saints too. We all think of these exemplars of humanity who are, the greatest examples we have of kindness, of courage, of compassion, of spirituality, of leadership. And we generally consider these folks really excellent, doers of good deeds, better than the rest of us at all this stuff. I also think, we tend to think saints are too few in number, that all these special holy people are somehow something we can't be. And I think that's the exact opposite of what Unitarian Universalism is teaching us. All souls are saints. All people are saints. And holy living is everyday, ordinary, accidental, on purpose, day in, day out stuff of human living that is holy. For example, my mom is a saint, still with us so far. She raised 2 boys as a single mom, working, always short on time and sleep and energy, and always perpetually on the verge of being broke. She nevertheless was always wonderful and kind, still is wonderful and kind. Our house was kind of a magnet for everybody in the neighborhood. We were the house where, the rock band set up in the basement. We were the house where if a cousin or a friend was having difficulties with parents and needed to get out of their house for a while to give both young person and parent a break, they'd come stay with us. My mom was always the person taking everybody in, was a mom to the neighborhood and all our friends as much as us. And there are lots of working moms, thousands, millions of them, who did what she did. And maybe even had it harder than she did. But she was holy, and all that work and all that love she did, raising us, that's holy work. It's every day, day in, day out struggle, accidental, on purpose. It's what holy people do. It's what humans do. You have family, you have friends who are saints. Everyday, accidental, on purpose, ordinary wonder workers, exemplars of human living that you looked up to. Maybe you had or have a teacher who is one. Maybe you are a teacher who is one. I ran into an everyday, ordinary saint last week when I went out to dinner. We went to dinner outside. And as we arrived, a young man who was serving the tables was being berated rather loudly by a rather obnoxious individual. There was something going on. Would find out as that young man became our server that it was about getting a little mix-up in what they had ordered and in what order they wanted it. And this poor kid was being ripped into by this other customer. And come to find out, he's a really good server. He was quick and efficient and friendly and personable. And we ended up getting his story and how bad he felt that he didn't do a great job for that person. But he probably did do a fine job, and the person needed to give him a little slack. We thought he was great. Just another everyday, ordinary, accidental, on-purpose holy person that took care of us. Maybe just for dinner. But that's saintly. A saint I've run into this year is a woman named Audrey, who uses the bullhorn and leads our chanting. United we stand. Black lives matter. Racism is a pandemic. No lives matter until Black lives matter. right? And she keeps this going 30, 60, 90 minutes at a stretch while we're standing there with the signs and doing our standouts and our protests. Just amazing. Are there other people at other rallies and other marches all over the world who have done this? Absolutely. But she's the one at the rallies I've been at. And I appreciate her work. And it's holy. And it's an everyday, ordinary type of thing that someone does. And I appreciate. But that's saintly. That's holy. For all souls are saints. You know, the entire history of liberal religion is expanding the idea of who is holy. All souls are. All souls are holy. All souls are lovable and acceptable and valuable. I think the single most important element of any humanistic religion is the idea that there is no such thing as a lesser person. No matter who you are, where you're from, what religion you are, what color you are, what language you speak, your sexual orientation, your gender expression, your national origin, your political opinion, you should be treated with the same dignity and respect as everyone else. And you should have equal access to all the benefits of human society: food, education, housing, and healthcare. The Abrahamic traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all teach that everyone is a child of God. And therefore, I would argue everyone is sacred and holy. This theological idea is enshrined in secular proclamations such as the United States Declaration of Independence and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights from the United Nations in 1948. Now, it is the simplest of concepts. Unitarian Universalists name it as our very first and foundational principle, the dignity and worth of every person. Any caring, good-hearted, fair-minded person upholds this idea. Universalist anthropology might be described as every human being is uniquely equal. Each and every one of us is a singularity, unique and special in what makes us us as an individual. And yet we are all equal in our humanity. The things that make us human make all of us human. It is because this idea that Universalist theology considers everyone holy or sacred or a saint. Universalism is not a religion for the faint-hearted, for it teaches that God or the universe or all the things that are, and however you want to look at it, sees as sacred and holy in the end to be reconciled to the good everyone. Not just my mom, but you can insert your name of evil dictator or most evil human being ever to live here. That's universalism. Yes, you and the worst of us. Now, for our part, we hold our fellow human beings to standards of justice and right and wrongdoing and fairness, and we punish and correct and have consequences for those who are wrong and do evil deeds. And that's a whole other sermon in itself, and we will go through that at a different time. But today I want to focus on the idea of every human being being sacred, the most foundational first principle that we hold as Unitarian Universalists. It's a perfect time during All Souls and All Saints to celebrate this idea. One of the things that makes this idea of all souls and all saints a significant observance to our Unitarian Universalist tradition is that we mark ourselves as a historical tradition. All of those who went before us in our faith tradition, and all of a sudden in all the faith traditions that feed into our sources of spiritual and religious inspiration, we have so much in common with all those people who organized and formed congregations and made covenants and stood up for open-minded, forward-thinking, free and responsible searches for truth and meaning and open forms of spirituality and religion. Now, in the Christian scriptures, Saul of Tarsus, who is called Saint Paul, uses the Koine Greek words hagoi and hoi hagoi to designate God's people or the people of their churches. He uses this in reference to those people reading his letters who have responded favorably to his outreach and his preaching, are devoted to the service of God. So these Greek words are translated into English as saints. Thus, saints is not a few special select people, but from the very earliest days of Christianity, the term saint was used to refer to everybody, the entire group. That's amazing. And I think that's an idea we proudly carry forward into our universalism to this day. The opposite of every human being sacred and holy is not that some human beings are unholy, but unhuman. To treat everyone as sacred and holy precludes the process of dehumanization. What we've seen happen in our country over the last 4 years are the steps leading to widespread dehumanization. In order to hate people, in order to harm them, in order to kill them, you have to make them less than human. Because someone who is just like yourself, just like you, that shares your humanity, that can laugh and cry and feel and have joy and be held in wonder and get angry, someone who's just like you, well, it's harder to treat them in an evil and malicious manner, or to harm them, or to kill them, because they are like you. But once we start to dehumanize, and once we start to call people names based upon their religion, or their gender expression, or their sexual orientation, or the religion they follow, or the color of their skin, then we make them into those categories instead of being human. We have otherized them and made the other wrong and not human. And then it becomes easier to hurt, to harm, and kill. I do believe very strongly that the struggle going forward will not be between religions and which religion has the right idea of truth, which religion is correct. Rather, the struggle going forward spiritually is going to be between any religious tradition, Christian, Buddhist, pagan, whatever it may be, who realizes that every human being is holy and those that don't. The struggle going forward in church and society will be between those who insist that only some special people are holy and those that recognize all of us are sacred and holy. Because the origin of the term saints comes from calling everyone holy. That's why I call you, and usually all the people in the congregations I serve, and everyone we deal with and minister to, holy ones, because you are holy ones, saints.
This is a song from the Women's Sacred Singing Circle. And again, I will sing it through 3, 4, 5 times. Please feel free to sing along if you so desire. Human am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Human am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Human am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Human am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Human am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am.
This week we hold in our hearts Trish Stewart, Lisa Quint, Sharon Scully and Nancy Burton, Nick Lorenzen, and wish a happy birthday to Mara Griffin McKenna.
Let us pray. Spirit of life, thank you for bringing us together today in loving community. Our hearts are heavy over yet another police shooting of a young Black man named Walter Wallace. Our prayers go out to his family and friends at this time. We are fearful for the future, not knowing how the election will turn out, not knowing when the pandemic will end, not knowing when we will be able to get together with friends and family in person. Please help us to eradicate white supremacy and the killing of people of color. Help us to deepen our faith and trust that we are not doomed. Help us to stay connected to the divine spark within ourselves and with others. Help us to be a healing force for each other and for the world. May it be so. Amen.
It may be true that nothing lasts forever, but we're not quite done yet. Please join us for coffee in the Zoom room. We've made the link easy now so that it's very simple to get there. It's there on your screen, but it's go.uucentralct.org/coffee. That's go.uucentralct.org/coffee. Pour a cup of your favorite beverage and join us right after the service. Thanks.
Though we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may it live on in our hearts, igniting our awareness of our holiness within, strengthening our ability to know that this too shall pass, that we will emerge from these challenging times with greater strength, becoming a healing force for a better world. Go in peace and love, beloveds.